blew me away.
The games just feel big.
The gameplay is amazing. The cutscenes are breathtaking. The gameplay in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is very similar and different compared to its previous entries. I would say the UI layout is very similar to Xenoblade 2 because you can use 3 arts. Also, they brought back positionals, so being able to do back attacks or side attacks, which is absolutely a pleasure to play.
I was looking to explore more JRPGs out in the world, and my community is a really big fan of Xenoblade. So I was like, you know what, I'll give this a try. So I started playing it at the end of last year, and then I saw that Xenoblade 3 was announced, and I was like, okay, it's time to play them all.
One word to describe my experience: big. And I don't just mean in terms of size, I mean the world itself feeling rich and alive, the sheer amount of things there are to do and see, and also how small the games make you feel. The moment when you walk out into Bionis Kneecap as Shulk and Ryan for the first time, and you look up and you see Maconis over you, it does a good job of putting things into perspective and making you feel small. So from multiple ways, I would say the games just feel big.
One of my favorite gameplay memories of the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise was definitely with the first game and the whole Monado. The fact that you can see the future and you can kind of control different things. I'd never really done that in that type of way. There have been games where you can kind of, go back in the past and prevent something, or go in the future and prevent something, or stop something from happening. But to be able to change what was going to happen right then and there and have visions, it was just I would just say just crazy experience that I've never had before. So for me, that's really what stuck out.
I was introduced to the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise from my very good friend Kat. She was telling me how much she absolutely loved these games. She was like, and Kylie, there is no pawns. And I was like, what's a no pawn? And I fell in love. I was like, what are these creatures? I have to meet them. So that was my first memory.
If someone wanted to know about the gameplay for the first time, I tell them that it is a lot like a Japanese RPG crossed with a Western RPG, where the gameplay feels a lot more Western than you would expect at first glance from the art style. You have a huge focus on exploration, you have battles that play out in real time, you have just a very big world with a lot going on in it, tons of people that you can get into the stories of. It's a best of both worlds.
I would say my favorite character to play as in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 so far is Mio, but specifically I like playing her as a sword fighter. I absolutely love directional attacks because it reminds me a lot of Xenoblade 1, and Mio is just a super cute character that I've met so far, and I really like playing as her.
For anyone that is concerned about starting with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I would say you probably won't have to worry about anything too much, because every single Xenoblade Chronicles has a different combat. So there's definitely something new and fresh, and from my experience so far, they are loosely connected, where if you have played the original, you'll be able to see little tidbits and know certain characters from the previous one, but I believe that you can play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 without any history of the other ones.
Yeah, how I would describe the Xenoblade Chronicles gameplay to someone brand new to the series is I would say that it's loaded. But at the same time, there's so many layers of depth to it and strategy, it becomes easier as you play and as you kind of learn new mechanics. But once you start really playing and understanding the chain attacks and the different combos that you can do, the different things they kind of that's shared across all the series games, that actually becomes extremely fun.
I love Xenoblade Chronicles 3 because of the way it's making me feel. I feel excited, I feel exhilarated playing, especially with the gameplay and the new attacks. I absolutely adore the characters. They make me feel so happy and warm. I think they're very wholesome.
Xenoblade 3 takes the parts of 1 and 2 that were most enjoyable and puts them together to make something entirely new. And not only that, but you have all sorts of customization with the characters being able to combine to make new characters in the middle of battle. There's a lot of depth to it, and it takes the parts that are most fun from both.
even though I wasn't actively streaming these games, me and my community members were still talking every single time I played it. So we would just always have this conversation about it. That made me very happy, actually, because it's not every time you can share these kind of experience with people, because they're usually coming to me with like, oh, what game should I play? And so it's like, no, you guys are helping me out this time, and it's a game that I'm enjoying a lot.
I love the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise because they put together one of the most, I would say, interesting stories with vast amounts of lore for fans to go through. Those, like, you can enjoy the experience. So I love how they kind of do some subtle connections here and there and bigger connections here and there, but then also make it like its own experience with each game. And then all the great gameplay mechanics and all the cool stuff that they layer on top of it, it just makes it the perfect RPG experience for me.